Last time, on winning Mario Party on the hardest board in AI, I managed to pull a win in Mario Party 4. And now, with the next installment planning to bring in orbs or capsules, new minigames, and the removal of Donkey Kong, sad face, I was prepared for bad things to occur, mainly in getting last place in a game. So, with those things being said, it's time to saddle in for a game that was most likely even closer to that than Mario Party 4. A game looked upon as kind of a mixed entry into the Mario Party series, and a game that took a turn from mysterious chaos into pure board building. As now I'm going to pull a back-to-back victory by winning Mario Party 5 on the hardest board and AI. Before we begin, let's run down the basic rules, since there's been 4 episodes in this series, and you should know them by now. Number 1, there is no special items or benefits to help out in these kinds of videos, as I'm trying to keep it as simple and vanilla as possible. Number 2, the way I choose the boards that I play on is mostly by community and reviewers, who find the hardest boards. However, because we're getting to the point in the game where there isn't really a lot of hard boards, I instead decided to flip the script completely and decide to go for the most popular board. But I still wanted it to be decently hard though. With the removal of Donkey Kong, as this is going to be the third point, with the removal of Donkey Kong as a playable character, we're going to have to change up our roster comparatively to the previous 4 entries into the series. I, of course, will be Mario, as always, and our other 2 AIs will stay the same, as Peach and Wario. So you're probably asking, what's a good replacement for Donkey Kong? Waluigi. Let's form Team-Wa, baby! I'm only doing a 20-turn game, as with all the other videos, as I'm gonna expect this is typically normal for most people. And to be honest, I don't really actually have to explain much in terms of boards, like the previous entries, since at this point we've kind of gotten to the exception that Mario Party boards just don't really have much in terms of gimmicks. Now, of course, the happening spaces on most of these boards are the actual gimmicks. However, there are 2 universal gimmicks that we're going to be seeing from the future for the rest of the Mario Party titles on the GameCube that I'm going to go ahead and mention now. For one, while DK isn't a playable character, you can land on a DK space in any boards that you play, regardless if it's Mario Party 5, 6, or 7. You can earn large amounts of coins and even stars from DK, so if you're near him, it's a good try to at least land on his space. Orbs, or in this case capsules, are essentially just items from the previous entries into the series. You can either use capsules on yourself to, say, steal coins from other players, activate a duel, chance time, you get the idea. Or you have the option to throw capsules and or orbs onto the board to interact with other spaces for other players to land on. But bear in mind that if you use orbs on yourself, it's going to cost you money, so just bear that in mind. But other than that, it's pretty much just based standard Mario Party, so I don't really have to explain much. So with that, let's get into Pirate Dream, and see if I can beat Team-Wa, because they're the equivalent of the Russian Federation.
Give me that button!
Turn 1 was pretty slow. At least the first few capsules weren't bad either. Then Peach, for whatever reason, landed on the Chain Chomp space, which is based in Mario Party 5's version of Boo. and she immediately steals all of Wario's money, even though Wario hasn't even left the start space yet. So that's clearly proving that Peach is immediately out for some blood. I then took a look around the board because I wanted to get used to what the happening spaces were and just general business. Our first minigame then, Panic Pinball, was basically a deja vu trip of pinball on Windows XP. It was pretty strange, and me and Wario lost. On turn 2, Waluigi rolls a 10, and scores his first star of the game. Our next star is right here. It's pretty far away. Peach then drops this Koopa bank, and I can already hear Koopa calling for financial aid in the distance. Wario also throws a Spiny, because of course. I then roll an insane 7, and make people lose some money, because, well, that's basically my own version of communism. Our next minigame then, Mario Mechs, is also strange, since both A, the controls are kinda iffy, but also because it's basically an automatic win for the team of 3. So naturally, we won. On turn 3, on this time, the AI throws some more capsules on the board. This is going to be a trend. I also throw some stuff, and then roll an impressive 1. Good roll. Our next minigame, Nightlight Fright, was mainly just me pressing A way too early and getting in last place. So I didn't win whatsoever. On turn 4, now being in last place, Waluigi decides to roll a 1 and get a large sum of money. Nice. Wario then gets a happening space. Cool. And then I roll an insane 9 and decide to go down, knowing that the star is probably going to Waluigi at the soonest and hoping that the star would spawn near me and Peach in a relative area so that I can grab it. Our next minigame then, Banking Coins, was a coin minigame. And although Peach was kinda being dumb since she for whatever reason didn't want to collect coins, we all ended up getting at least 20 coins, so it was worth the mild pain. On turn 5, Waluigi rolls and secures his second star, building his lead. The next star were to go literally in front of him, so no pressure. Peach decides to go up this way, because, you know, distractions and extra passages are cool. I decide to roll an impressive 5, and followed the gang up the path towards the star. Our next minigame then, Hotel Goomba, was a puzzle game, but it was actually a smaller kind of puzzle game, and I actually really enjoy these minigames, but also because the AI was simply crapping themselves, so in the end of the news, this was an easy victory.
Finish! Yes, I'm the winner!
On turn 6, Waluigi was getting wrecked. Also, this bomb is going to be some foreshadowing for later. Peach would also get her first star this turn, pushing her into second place. and the next star would head south, so it was going to be a bit before somebody actually got that, or even get there rather. Our next minigame then, Fight Cards, was actually a pretty cool idea, but I decided to pull a pro gamer move and spam all 3 of the actual buttons needed to win this minigame at once, and I lost immediately. Luckily, Peach held through and scored us the victory. Peach then rolls to land on the chain chomp for the 2nd time. This time, she's actually going to steal a star from Waluigi and take the lead. Then Wario pulls the big suck and steals everyone's money. Good job, Wario. Very cool. And knowing that that bomb is present and right there, I prayed to roll low. And I actually got it. Thanks, game. Our next minigame, Chimp Chase, was basically a child rescue mission. Luckily, I scored a golden child and took victory. On turn 8, you know, Waluigi, yeah, he did some things. He also landed on Chain Chomp and stole some of Wario's money. It's kinda odd though, since I had the coin lead, but I mean, hey, whatever floats your boat. Good roll, Peach. Wario using a golden mushroom here to go 15 spaces. He apparently snags his first star of the game here, and it pushes him into 2nd place. Our next star would then head right in front of everyone else, so that's cool. I then rolled an insane 1. Our next minigame, Mathletes, was also another coin minigame, but this one was just kinda lame, and I mean, hey, it works at least, and I got 20 coins out of it, so it's a win in my book. On turn 9, Waluigi rolls low, but he ends up landing on a happening space. Then everybody else gets sent back several spaces. Solid. And then Peach does literally the exact same thing, making that happening space now the legendary happening space. Wario then throws some stuff, and then I roll an insane 10, and manage to just barely snag my first star of the game, allowing me to get into 2nd place. I also picked up a dual capsule that'll be used a little bit later. The next star went right below us, but I figured that the AI probably has that on lock. Our next minigame then, Revolving Fire, was actually a cool idea, but the hitboxes here are kinda odd, and after trying to jump over the fire, I ended up dying, and we lost. Still, it's a cool minigame though. On turn 10, Waluigi gets his own dual capsule, but he also scores his star that Peach stole from him, and returns back to 2. Our next star went over here. It was behind a paywall, so that's cool. Waluigi also gets another happening space, so that's also cool. Wario then gets another happening space, you see a trend here, and scores some coins in the process. I then use Lakitu with the attempt of trying to steal Waluigi's dueling orb, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. I then rolled an insane 7 and went to the star, since I was the only one that was going to get it probably. Our next minigame, Ground Pound Down, is dope, and it was actually a really close race, and I took victory, only just. Halfway through this game now, and well, Waluigi gets cursed, and Peach does Peach things, and Wario rolls a 6 and doesn't really have much happen. And then I roll a massive 9 and secure another star for the Horde, officially taking first place. At this point I knew that I had the coin lead on lock, so I was actually feeling pretty confident. Our next star was right on top of Wario. Sad face. Our next minigame is a battle minigame with 50 coins on the table. Our minigame is Bill Blasters, which is actually rather easy once you get the speed down. And I actually won without even getting hit a single time and made a pretty good profit.
I'm the winner!
On turn 12, Waluigi was now throwing the dual orb, because I guess Peach with a massive 10, choosing to head for the star, and instead lands on Bowser. We end in getting a Bowser shuffle, and everybody swaps places. It wasn't actually bad for me, as I didn't get put back all that far. However, they did give Wario a shot for the star, however. I then threw a coin block down from a capsule because I don't want to be a communist. And then I roll a 1. Awesome job. I then choose to rob Wario for his money, because I'm actually a communist. Our next minigame, Quilt for Speed, was odd, since not only was I messing up, but the AI was too, so it was just kind of screwed from the start. So in this case, let's just blame Team Wah and forget this ever happened.
Finish!
Good roll, Wah. Pretty impressive. Peach taking some of my money, because, you know, wife's gotta make some dough somehow. She then rolls a 9, and lands on Chain Chomp for the 3rd time. She then steals some money from Waluigi, because I guess she just wants to bleed him dry, I guess. I don't really know. Waluigi out here rolling an 8, and securing his 2nd star of the game. Our next star would go literally in front of me. Cool. I then roll an insane 1. But I got some coins, so I guess it was worth it. Our minigame then, Rumble Fumble, was also a failed attempt at making a pro gamer move, as I basically just grabbed every single pot here and hoped for the best. And I failed miserably at doing so.
Finish!
Peach would actually get her paycheck for doing her dirty work here. Good going, Peach. Wario also got a Twister, so he could basically just screw somebody out of a star if he felt like doing so. I then rolled a pretty impressive 4, and swapped places with someone. And since I swapped with Waluigi, he's not getting that star, because he was broke. Our minigame, Chomp Romp, was fun, yet challenging. I ended up winning, and to be honest, I kinda want to play this minigame again. It's actually pretty dope.
Finish! Yes, I'm the winner!
Wah doesn't get a star. Get wrecked. But he does get a happening space, so that's cool. Wario out here throwing that twister because it's also the equivalent of throwing a child, and he doesn't want to win apparently. Wario then gets another happening space, and over here we're experiencing the Battle of the Wahs for the happening star. I then use my duel capsule, and I aim for Waluigi, and I want his stars. However, sadly, we ended up getting the mini-name Button Mashers. Minigame, yeah. Named solely because I had to button mash not one button, but several at the same time. And to be honest, I actually had it going for a good while, but in the end, I lost. And Waluigi would end up getting my 2 stars and would take the lead.
Start! Finish!
Yeah, Waluigi the winner. I got it.
Trust me, it was a killer blow indeed. But I guess it made up for it because then I got a chance capsule, so that's exciting. Our next minigame, Triple Jump, is not a Mario platformer, but it is a game that I sucked complete balls at. Since my controller was the equivalent of an actual lake at this point from the previous duel minigame, my fingers just continued to slip, so I couldn't mash the buttons, and I lost horrifically.
Finish!
As we approach turn 16, I then made it so that there are now 5 star spaces on the board. Yep, you heard that right. Things are about to get crazy. Since, you know, there's only 7 possible star spaces on the board, you get what I mean. Waluigi then lands on DK and fails to get a star by rolling higher than DK. Good job. Peach does, you know, Peach things. And then I do the unthinkable and roll a whopping and insane 10. I pay the bank and grab another capsule. I also get the star, putting me back into 3rd place. The next star spawns right in front of me, and with just enough moves left, I get a 2nd star, throwing me back into 1st place. And I also got a golden mushroom to finish off. What a great turn, that one. Our next minigame then, Coney Island, was just stand in the shadows and hope for the best. It was here that I started to wonder what the bonus stars were like, with only less than 5 turns left in this game. I definitely had the coin star on lock for sure, and over here at Team Wah, they were battling it out for the happening star. But as for the minigame star, I had no idea. But regardless, let's just keep going.
Finish!
Yes, I'm the winner.
Turn 17 started with Waluigi rolling a whopping 10 and losing all of his money. Because, of course. Peach decided to throw that cursed mushroom because Peach has got to do Peach things. Wario then uses the Chance Orb and instead throws it onto the board. Clearly, Wario over here does not want to cause some chaos. He then steals everyone's whole 1 coin. Now that is what I call a waste of time. I then used the golden mushroom from that I landed on last turn and rolled a whopping 20. And after debating how I wanted to move throughout the board, I chose to head up north and collect my 4th star of the game, allowing me to continue building my lead. Waluigi still technically had the lead though, since he had the happening lead at this point, so technically I was in second. The other star went back over here, because of course it would with 5 spaces, and spaces are swapping in and out of each other. I did snag this mushroom ore capsule though, so that's pretty dope. Our next minigame then, Pop Star Piranhas, was actually a pretty cool concept, and was pretty dope and fun guessing which piranha was the odd one out. And we ended up getting a 3-way tie, so that's pretty dope.
Finish!
On turn 18, Wah decided to throw some stuff because, you know, of course. He doesn't get to buy a star because, like, I guess he's broke, I guess. Peach and myself then have a duel, but it's only for 1 star and 50 coins, in the game Mary Poppins, not to be confused with the movie. In this moment, the game became instantly rigged, because although I was pressing A and B simultaneously, like the game said so, the game just decided to eat every single input, and Mario did absolutely nothing. So, I essentially lost by doing absolutely nothing. I lost my star, and Peach would end up taking the lead. Wario decided to throw some stuff on the floor, because of course, and then went to join us, only to land on a happening space, giving Wario the lead. And then, I rolled a 1. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for communism. Let's get it, boys! Our next minigame then, Berry Basket, was essentially just Wario not listening to anything I said whatsoever and forcing us to lose. Thanks, Wario. Very cool.
Finish!
On turn 19, Wah comes to join us, and well, Peach and Waluigi are gonna duel. For stars, and Head Waiter. I didn't really know who had the minigame star at this point, but I had a good feeling that it wasn't Waluigi, since I pretty much knew that at this point, he hadn't won a lot of minigames. So I wanted him to win this because I knew it wouldn't be much of a loss. But he ended up winning.
Finish!
Waluigi the winner.
Peach then makes her move, only to be sent right back to where she came from. Good job, Peach, you went absolutely nowhere. I then rolled to get a star that I had lost, not before getting double 3s and getting 10 coins though, so that's pretty cool. And that's actually a pretty good first for this series. I then ended up regaining the star I lost, returning back to 4. And at this point, we were too far away from really any stars, so I figured that whatever stars were on the board now was what we had. Our next minigame then was Nightlight Fright again, and I still lost, because my reaction timing is complete AIDS.
Finish!
The final turn is here, and with it, the only things that really happened this turn were some coin stealing, money stealing, and a Bowser shuffle. I had a general gist of what the bonus stars were at the time, with the coin star pretty much being on lock for me, and Wario with the happening star. However, the minigame star was pretty much still a question. As mentioned earlier, I knew Waluigi probably wasn't going to get it since he hadn't really won a lot. And if I had to guess, most likely it was either going to be me or Peach, because Peach was probably the closest in the running. And worst case scenario, I'd probably get second or third. But regardless, let's focus on the game here with our final minigame, Kirby Curbs. And since I don't have a driver's license pretty much at all, unless if you count a learner's permit, a driver's license, I lost. But with that, let's find out if my bonus star predictions came true or not. Let's begin with the elephant in the room, the Minigame Star. And after quite literally clinching the arm of my chair, surprise! It's me. I was actually like, what? What? How? So trust me, you're not alone. The coin star was also locked into me, and the happening star was Wario's. So naturally, I think we all know what's gonna happen next. Yep, back-to-back Mario Party wins. What a shock. Honestly though, this was actually probably the closest game yet, and it did come right down to the bonus stars. I actually had the minigame star by quite a large margin, and Peach just barely missed out on the coin star as well. Indeed, it was a really close game. So yeah, I won Mario Party 5 on the, quote, hardest board and AI. I am genuinely shocked I managed to pull through, as I genuinely thought that I wasn't going to win this one. But I mean, hey, with the Mario Party franchise, I guess your predictions never quite work out to what you thought they would be. When you join me again in the next episode of this series, we'll be moving on to my favorite title in the entire series, Mario Party 6. And I sure can't wait to relive my childhood there. But for now, I'll leave Mario Party 5 at that. My name is PandaPowerSauce, remember to stay saucy, and I'll see you next time in Mario Party 6. Later!